Good morning, Magic players. Today we have an exciting game to show to you all on this lovely day. But before we begin, this game was filmed on GoToMeeting, not sponsored. Check out this channel's Patreon, not sponsored. Link in description, not sponsored. In today's game, Arkham Arcanus brings Rathreos, keeping 5 relentless rats and 2 swamps. Of course he did. Krozix brings another 5-color deck with Niv-Mizzet Reborn. His newest experimental prototype comes available with Bloom Tender, D-Spark, Utter End, Reborn Hope, Mystic Retrieval, Command Tower, and Transguild Promenade, I don't care. Horatio also chose to bring a 5-color deck with Sisay, Weatherlight Captain. The Doombringer has kept a hand of Birds of Paradise, Smothering Tithe, Jace Memory Adept, Teferi Temporal Archmage, Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, Command Tower, and Bountiful Promenade, I don't care. A new contender enters the arena this game. Iron Eyes embraces his inner savagery, bringing Morophon and its Dragon Brood to the arena. The Catman has kept a hand of Stormbreath Dragon, Killmouth Dragon, Path to Exile, Assassin's Trophy, Aggravated Assault, Godless Shrine, and Unclaimed Territory. Arkham rides into the arena on a horde of rats and starts us off. Arkham commands one of his rats to put a swamp on the field. It takes a bit, because it's a rat, but it does the job. Arkham passes the turn to the very confused goblin. Krozix plays a command tower. Horatio plays a command tower as well, then a Birds of Paradise. He ships the turn to the Catman, who is currently stalking a rat. Iron Eyes plays an Unclaimed Territory. Nobody can really understand what creature type he said because of the freshly caught rat in his mouth, but it's a 50-50 shot between dragons and cephalids. Arkham plays another swamp. Shocking. The rats on his field get ready to pounce. Krozix plays a Transguild Promenade. He passes while lecturing a rat on something to do with mana. Horatio plays a Bountiful Promenade, then his commander, Sisay. A turn 2 Sisay is always bad news. Speaking of bad news, a rat is trying to steal my script. Send help. Squeak squeak, squeak squeak squeak, squeak squeak squeak, squeak. Translation: Godless Shrine tapped. Give me that damn script, stupid rat. Yeah. Ow, my finger. Anyways, now that I have my script back, let's return to the episode. Arkham plays a swamp, then calls forth his rat army by playing a Relentless Rats. The first of many, I assume. The podiums that the contestants are standing on have to be raised a bit so they can stay above the swarming rats. Krozix tries to play a dual land, but it gets eaten by the rats, so instead he plays a Gateway Plaza. All done, he passes turn. Horatio plays a Sun Petal Grove, then casts Farseek, grabbing a Rogrin Triome. After all that, he passes the Catman, who has eaten at least 3 rats at this point. All filled up, Iron Eyes plays a Mountain, followed by Aggravated Assault. Arkham plays another rat, then sends one of the horde at Horatio, dealing 3 rat points of damage. Out of rats to play this turn, Arkham passes to a non-ratty player. Krozix misses a land drop this turn, playing a Mana Geode instead. The goblin scries to the top, liking what he sees, when it's not covered by a rat, of course. Horatio plays a Reflecting Pool, taunting Krozix. He then taunts him even more by playing Niv-Mizzet Reborn. The dragon enters, and Horatio is given Cura, the Crashing Wave, and nothing else. A bit miffed at how much he whiffed, Horatio swings the now massive Sisay at Arkham, dealing 7 commander damage. All done, he passes. The Catman, who I need more nicknames for, draws for turn, plays a Crucible of Spirit Dragon, and passes, not having enough mana for dragons. Yet. Arkham predictably plays another rat. As he does, Iron Eyes adds a storage counter to his Crucible. Nothing else to do, Arkham passes. Krozix draws, sighs, then discards at end of turn. Horatio starts off his turn with Teferi, Temporal Archmage. It wipes away the rats on the fields when it enters. Horatio downticks the Walker, untapping 4 of his things. He uses that mana from his things to play a Smothering Tithe. All good and set up, he passes. On Iron Eyes' upkeep, Krozix casts an Utter End, targeting the Tithe. It gets exiled to the relief of the table and the rats. On his main phase, Iron Eyes puts a storage counter on his Crucible. How sad. He passes. Another rat is played by Arkham, to everyone's surprise. Krozix draws his card and seems relieved. He plays an Overgrown Tomb, then a Bloom Tender, catching back up with the rest of the table, almost like he's playing mono white. Horatio plays a Temple of Plenty, scrying to the top. Cura, the Crashing Wave, then enters. Horatio downticks her to explore. He actually finds a land, a swamp. After all that, he untaps a bunch of stuff with Teferi, then plays Nicol Bolas, Dragon God. The god deems the rats unworthy and smites the eldest rat. Rat go boom. Horatio passes. Seeing the amount of walkers growing ever larger, Iron Eyes uses all the storage counters on his crucible to play a Storm Breath Dragon. It has protection from white, so the dragon is able to take out Teferi. All done, and finally in the game, the shirtless kitty passes turn. Never use that game again. Swamp. Rat. Pass. To deal with the walkers even more so, Kha'Zix casts Electrolyze, pinging the Birds of Paradise and Dragon God for 1 each, killing both and leaving them for the rats. I'm getting too morbid, aren't I? Anyway, Kha'Zix draws a card from the spell and passes. Horatio, mad at the loss of his army, plays pure, imaginative rascal, then turns off the current eldest rat with Curious Uptick. All done, he passes, attempting to recover. Iron Eyes plays a Thunderbreak Regent, then hits Horatio in the air for 4 with Storm Breath. Out of plays, he passes. Swamp. Rat. Pass. Kha'Zix plays a Private Amulet. That is all. On his turn, Horatio activates Sisay. In response, Kha'Zix casts D-Spark, exiling Niv-Mizzet on the Doombringer's board. A counter is added to the Primal Amulet. This means that Horatio can only search for cards that cost 3 or less, so he grabs a Rada, Heart of Keld. He looks to the top card of his library. He then downticks Cura, whiffs, then passes. Iron Eyes adds a storage counter to his Crucible. That is all. Arkham plays a rat. He then swings a few, 1 at Kha'Zix, 1 at Cura, and 1 at Horatio's face. All of them take 7 and Arkham passes. Kha'Zix starts off the turn with his commander, Niv-Mizzet Reborn. He hits on 5 out of 10 of the cards revealed, but keeps only 3 of them because of the color restriction. Emergency powers, Metamorphose, and Cura's follower go to his hand. The follower is then cast, followed by a Metamorphose, then followed by an Urban Evolution. From the evolution, Kha'Zix plays a Bountiful Promenade. The Primary Amulet gets 2 counters placed on it from all those spells. All done and ready for mayhem, he passes. Horatio plays Garruk, Apex Predator. He downticks the walker to erase the youngest rat from the field. Horatio gains 7 and passes. Iron Eyes, still only playing 1 card per turn, plays a Dragon Tempest. He swings his Storm Breath at Garruk, killing it. Sighing, he passes. Arkham plays a card I thought I would never see him play. A Plains. He finally casts his commander, Rathreos, or Rathreos, then a rat. A rat then goes at each player, dealing 7 each. With his commander online, Arkham dances and passes, accidentally stepping on a few rats. On his main phase, Kha'Zix casts a Reborn Hope, flipping his amulet and returning Metamorphose to his hand. He then floats a ton of mana, including mana from the amulet, then casts a Villainous Wealth for 13, copying it. He exiles the top 13 cards from Horatio and Iron Eyes' library. It gets a bit messy, so I'm going to leave a small helpful guide on what is now on Kha'Zix's board due to the game being over webcam. After the mess is all cleared up, Kha'Zix plays Ashiok, Dreamrender. He downticks the walker to mill Arkham for 4, then exiles all of his opponent's graves. He misses the draw trigger from the Stolen Jihora on this one, but doesn't miss it when he casts a Soul Ring. He pings Pier with Niv-Mizzet Parad. Using the ring, he casts a Fellwar Stone, drawing again and pinging Pier to kill it. He upticks a few Stolen Walkers, whiffing on Tamio, gaining 3 from Ajani, and looting from Sarkhan. He then activates the Stolen Ramos, adding 2 mana of each color to his mana pool. The mana is then used on a Tome of the Guild Pact, drawing and pinging Rada. Some more of the mana is used on a Firemind's Vessel, drawing and pinging Rada again. Kha'Zix then casts a Crackling Doom, dealing 2 to his opponents and forcing them to sacrifice their strongest creature. Horatio sacks Sisay, Iron Eyes sacks Stormbreath Dragon, and Arkham sacks a rat, which goes to his hand from the Rathreos trigger, or Rathreos trigger. He draws from Niv, then pings Rada again, killing her. He then continues this very lengthy turn by downticking the Mad Sarkhan, forcing Arkham to sacrifice Rathreos. Since Ramos is a problem, Iron Eyes casts Path to Exile on the end step. Kha'Zix makes a 1/1 on an upkeep. Horatio plays Garruk, Cursed Huntsman, and downticks to kill the Dragon Broodmother on Kha'Zix's field. He draws and passes. Still out of cards to play, Iron Eyes plays an Ancient Tomb, then adds a storage counter to his Crucible. He passes to the Rat Wizard. Arkham plays a rat, shocking, then goes all out at Kha'Zix, attempting to stop the Goblin in his tracks. The Rat Horde manages to sneak 14 damage through, with 3 of the rats being blocked. Krozix takes 14 and Arkham plays another rat, passing afterwards. On his draw step, Krozix pings Iron Eyes with Niv-Mizzet. He then floats all of his mana and uses it to cast a Mind Grind, with X being 24. It gets copied by the Prima Amulet's flip side, so it's copied up to a whopping 48. This results in all of his opponents milling until they hit 48 lands from their deck, which means their entire library. To close out the game completely, he then down-ticks Ashiok, exiling everything that was just milled. Krozix passes, and one by one his opponents lose to not being able to draw, to leave just Krozix to win the game.
A devastating blowout is always entertaining for me to watch. Krozix and his mad experiments are a joy to see unfold. I hope he continues his mad rampage next time on Wizards of the Vortex.